And, I would slap myself if I don't ask this, that this recent book which you're talking about, which would get released in 2000, early 2023. I mean, what's it about? What's
Mhm.
the target audience?
I would say if you like, HBO type of shows, it's kind of, in terms of vibe, it has a kind of a true detective sort of vibe. It's about a filmmaker who he's a failed filmmaker in New York, and he goes back to Florida where he grew up, and he decides to make a documentary about these series of murders that happened when he was a boy, and these all of these things start happening as he tries to make this film, and he gets into some trouble. So it's I think that if you're into murder mysteries, if you're into kind of more noir style genre, or like I said, any kind of just HBO. It's maybe a little like 17 and up, but but otherwise, yeah, I think if that's your cup of tea, you definitely get a kick out of it. And like I said, I wrote those 6 scripts, and then I've had 5 different editors since then, and so it's definitely gone through a big filtration process, of a lot of really quality eyeballs. So I feel like when people finally see it, it'll be something they can be really happy with.
Awesome. So did you,
and
yeah.
and there's a crossword puzzle at the end, so even if you don't like the book, you can do a crossword puzzle.
Okay. Anything to interest nerds like me. Yeah. I'm sure people would show this book the similar love they've been showing to your other works as well. And just a quick question, that did you write and animate this all by yourself?
Yeah, so I did write it all, and then this issue I have here is kind of all me. This was written, illustrated, colored, lettered, the whole process by me. And I decided, for time purposes, that's definitely not the not the best way to do it. If I want to churn out like one book a year, that's a great way to do it. But so I decided to bring on a colorist, and he did such a great job. He's really elevated the work. Like, I was really happy with what I did, but it's to now on a whole nother level. And he's now lettering the book as well. And so it's relieved me of a lot of stress. I just go in and basically draw it, do the inks, and then I give it to him, and he does the colors and the lettering. And so not only does it look way better because he's way better coloring than I am, he also I can get it done twice the time now. We can do 2 books in the time it took to do one. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's been great.
That's one of the perks of working with people, who have the skills that you might not be exceptional at. And I think it's really important, because when you are into the creating side of things, you somehow ostracize the other side, that, I'm not good at it, but I still want the control over it. So sometimes you have the
Mm-hmm.
kind of internal ego of not letting the other person fiddle with it, especially when it's not a funded project, when you're doing it it's a labor of love.
Yeah, it's a difficult balancing act. I mean, even on this project alone, I probably, there were a couple other artists I went to, and they committed to it, and they said and then they kind of backed out and said, you're always playing that game of, again, trying to find the right people, and it takes time. And when you are going to bring on other people to work on your work, or when you're just going to work with other people, it's collaborating is a true art form in and of itself. And sometimes it's not always easy to take a back seat and kind of be more of the assistant, or just be the person help, but that person is really, really valuable. I've learned how to be that person a lot, and sometimes nowadays I need that person, and that guy or girl, it can be really hard to find someone who just wants to do a good job more than necessarily wants to just, create something new or experiment, and that can be tough to find. So I'm very lucky to have found. I was just gonna say I'll send you issues when we have them. I'll make sure to send you some books to read.
Awesome. I'd love to go through it, because I'm already a fan of your animations. And, you shared a perfect point about, that it's immensely important, and it's sort of a mind boggling experience to find the right people. But it's truly a delightful experience once you get them on board and finally have your own team assembled. So it's been such a pleasure having you. I personally learned a lot from this entire conversation. And I know, even though editing is sort of the stressful part of this, but I'm going to love it, because I'll go over this conversation again and again and take those useful pieces of nuggets and all that advice you shared and sort of implement it in what I do as well. So thank you for making this happen.